Kai glanced at the photo, his face paling, and grabbed the phone, his voice shaking. "What do you want?" His hands trembled, his eyes flashing with panic. I didn't fight for the phone, smiling lightly. "You think I don't have backups? You think a veteran journalist like me doesn't know a few cops? Spill it, what's going on?" Kai gritted his teeth, lowering his voice. "Name your price. I'll buy your story." Lanh jumped in, furious. "Don't insult us. You think all journalists are extortionists? We're here for the truth, not dirty deals." Her words made me slightly embarrassed, but I continued. "I've investigated. Everyone, from the rice paper vendor to the strawberry seller, knows about the ghost rumors. Are you behind it, using cameras to scare tourists?" Kai gave a bitter laugh, his voice resigned. "If you investigated, Duyen Land's been open for over a decade and the ghost rumors started 6 or 7 years ago. I've only worked here a year. How could it be me? I'm just a manager, not the owner." Under pressure, Kai reluctantly spilled everything. He came from Hugh and, being sharp, was promoted to lobby manager. The owner, Duyen Land, rarely showed up, so Kai was practically in charge. With some power, he got greedy, buying surveillance equipment from a contact in Saigon. When attractive female guests checked in, he'd install cameras for his perverse curiosity, an act that's not only unethical but illegal in Vietnam. But the longer he worked, the more he sensed something off about Duyen Land. Locals say it's haunted, and I didn't believe it, but half the rooms are always empty. The owner ordered them not to be rented, even locking them remotely via the electronic system. The list of restricted rooms changes periodically. His eyes showed fear. Lanh couldn't hold back, interrupting. "What's that got to do with ghosts? If you're not scaring people, why install cameras?" Kai continued, his voice trembling. "A few days ago, the owner sent a new list including 214. But that day, the receptionist accidentally rented it to that couple. I realized the owner might have forgotten to lock 214, meaning my keycard could open it. So yesterday afternoon I snuck in to install a camera, hoping to uncover the hotel's secrets. I'm not a journalist, but who wouldn't be curious? An empty hotel, yet the owner's filthy rich. Where's the money coming from?" Lanh questioned. "If the owner caught you, you'd be fired. You're not a journalist, so why so curious? Or are you after something else?" Kai faltered, his eyes darting. I smiled lightly, answering for him. "Duyen Land's always empty. The owner has no side business, yet he's one of the richest, owning a mansion. The money's from those restricted rooms, right? You wanted to find out to profit, or just curiosity?" Kai nodded reluctantly, sweat beading on his forehead. "Last night, we were in 212 and saw the figure in white, but we don't know what they did in 214. You saw the camera feed, what did you find?" I pressed, my voice stern, my eyes sharp. Key's face showed terror, his lips trembling before he finally said, "An urn of ashes." The figure in white, sneaking into Duyen Land at midnight, placed an urn of ashes in room 214. A chill ran down my spine, despite my warm jacket. Then it hit me 214 was just a room the owner forgot to lock. The other restricted rooms likely held urns too. Imagine staying in a hotel, but the room next door doesn't house the living, it holds cold urns of ashes neatly arranged on tables. In Duyen Land's 100 rooms, the living were outnumbered by the dead. This wasn't a hotel, it was a cemetery. The thought made me shudder, and Lanh, though trying to stay strong, had teary eyes, on the verge of crying. I immediately called my police friend Chi Si-eng, who'd helped me crack many strange cases. I recounted everything, from the ghost rumors to the figure in white and the urns. Chi Si-eng, with his deep Central Vietnamese accent, said reluctantly, "Min, if we found bodies, we'd investigate immediately."
"But ashes?"
"No law bans storing ashes in a hotel. Maybe try the Consumer Protection Association, they're better at this." I sighed, glancing at the trembling Kai. "There's someone installing hidden cameras here. That's under police jurisdiction, right? I've got evidence, not just talk." Chi Si-eng understood. With our history of cooperation, he knew I wasn't making baseless claims, so he agreed, "Fine, we'll check it out." But Min, if this is a misunderstanding, the pressure from above won't be light. You sure? I nodded over the phone, resolute. I'm sure. Something's wrong here. I can feel it. I warned Kai not to flee, and we waited for Chi Si-ing. The police arrived, bringing a serious air. At Kang's request, the rooms were opened. Sure enough, nearly half contained urns, 56 in total, neatly placed on tables with white chrysanthemums, flowers often used in Vietnamese funerals. Kai contacted the owner, Tran Lan, a calm middle-aged man who arrived sweating profusely. Don't touch them. The urns are placed in specific rooms based on a feng shui master's calculations and dates. Moving them ruins my luck, he shouted, his voice frantic. Why does a hotel have so many urns? Chi Si-ing demanded, his eyes sharp. Tran Lan sighed, slumping into a chair, and explained. I shivered as I listened. It was a secret industry veiled in superstition. With soaring land prices in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, cemetery plots cost hundreds of millions of VND, unaffordable for many. So some devised a solution: buy cheap properties in other regions for tens of millions, divide them into rooms to store ashes. It was not only cheaper but allowed for feng shui-friendly locations. Years ago, when Duyen Lan was on the brink of bankruptcy due to poor business, someone approached Tran Lan, inviting him into this trade. Ashes from big cities were brought here, stored temporarily, then moved to the Central Highlands or Northeast for better feng shui burial sites. In some wealthy circles, this was more common than buying cemetery plots, as a Saigon grave could cost as much as a Highland villa. Tran Lan stomped his foot, his voice full of regret. I hired a famous feng shui master from Hue to calculate everything carefully, choosing rooms based on the month to store the urns. He said it wouldn't bring bad luck, but would attract wealth. But you've ruined it. My luck for half a year is gone. So this was the source of the hotel for the dead, rumors. Though the ash deliveries were discreet, locals noticed, and stories spread from cafes to rice paper stalls. Tran Lan's actions were superstitious and opaque, but not illegal. I could write and expose for a Cayenne magazine, but Chi Si-ing could only withdraw, his eyes full of resignation. Yet, something still felt off. The investigation didn't explain Kwok An and Hami's experience. What were the voices from 214's wall? Who was the white figure in the corridor? The answers I sought were still out of reach. Kai was detained for installing hidden cameras, a crime carrying up to 7 years in Vietnam. But the police didn't fully trust him. If he installed a camera in 214, who's to say he didn't do it elsewhere? A thorough search revealed a shocking truth. Every room in Duyen Lan had tiny cameras hidden in outlets, desk lamps, or ceiling cracks. Kai, terrified, stammered, Impossible. I only installed one in 214. The others aren't mine. I swear!